Hey everyone, I'm Jay. I have been getting interested in e-ink devices some more over the past few months. Just recently got a Boox Note Max after also having gotten a Go 10.3 and a Note Air 4C, kind of trying to figure out which one of these things makes the most sense for me and why. I really like the Note Max, spoiler alert. I'll talk a little bit about why and why I'm not so worried about some of the problems that have been reported with it over the last week or so, and what I think the manufacturer will probably end up doing to correct those issues. Hopefully I'll try to answer some questions that I've seen bounce around about this device as well. Some questions about ghosting on the display, some stuff about, how does it behave with this application or that application, that kind of stuff. And yeah, hopefully I can make this at least somewhat informative. So I am not a professional, so be advised. Right. So, like I said, not a professional operation here. But I do think that despite the glare of the light above me there, we can still see some things, which I think we should be okay. Um, so I've got a bunch of stuff installed on here already. Obviously, this is my quote production device unquote. I wasn't about to uninstall everything I was doing on it just to make this video. That said, there's not really anything sensitive on here, so I'm sure this is not going to really be that big of a deal. So I'm just doing this with like a camera tripod and my phone. we're not, we're not, uh, we're not a pro shop here. So, but anyway, this is the home screen, the way that I have it configured right now. So I've got like a Microsoft Outlook widget over here. I've got the Google Calendar widget over here. This is the Books Notes widget, and then I've got some app groupings and stuff installed. Well, not installed, but set up on my on the first page of my home screen. And then I've got some things on the bottom. So this is just the Notes app again. This is Obsidian, which I'm trying to get into using. Ed, if you're watching this, thank you for the inspiration. This is the Gmail, Outlook, browser, etc. I'm trying to give our brother of e-ink, e-ink browser, however we want to pronounce it or say it, a try. I'm not sure I'm really in love with this thing yet, but I really am trying to like actually give it like a fair shake. We'll see. And then we don't really have anything else interesting here. So there are a couple of things that I've found that might be nice from like a demo purpose for some things that I'd like to show you guys. So so already you can see, if you're looking carefully, there's a little bit of ghosting on the display. Let me see if I can clear it, and that will be maybe instructive. You know what? Maybe there wasn't any. I don't know. But this is part of what I wanted to show and or tell people. So Carta 1300 definitely has some kind of issue with ghosting. It's its own animal when it comes to ghost images on the screen. So one of the ways that I know that I can show this most effectively is if I go into a note and draw some stuff. Like, let's see. Okay, so let's do like a shape. We'll do, hello, there we go. We'll do a couple of big 3D shapes that are going to be filled with some kind of color. In this case, we'll do red. And yeah, we'll see how that works. So we'll do this, right? Here's a nice big box. And maybe we'll do let's see, like a slice of cheese is the inlet. It says triangular prism. I'm sorry, that's a slice of cheese. You can't convince me otherwise. That's very, very clearly a fine piece of cheddar. And then we've got, let's see, we'll do a sphere over here, right? And so I think this is probably sufficiently, what's the word? Sufficiently dark in places and light in other places that you'll be able to see what happens when we flip it. So I'm not going to bother picking it up and, you know, doing all that nonsense. I'll just tell it to rotate the way I want it to. So we'll do it, you know, right to left instead of, you know, in landscape instead of portrait. We'll see what happens. That was not as useful as I was hoping. However, you can kind of see some shadows here. Something that Roderick Wortham from Rants About Tech has pointed out is the way that ghosting seems to work on Carta 1300 is you get this inverse ghosting. You get this like light ghosting instead of dark. You can kind of see that there are lighter areas here and here where the other shapes were that correspond to, you know, where the maybe like the circle was, right, or the sphere was on the page before. Maybe we'll make the color darker so we can really get like a picture of oh, that's right, that doesn't work if you swipe down from the wrong spot, does it? Let's see. Okay, right, so we have that. Why don't we see if we can just make all these things like close to black, if not actually black. Okay, maybe like a really dark gray or something. Sure, that works. And now we will turn. Okay, it's a little more visible now. It's still not that strong, right? Like here's where the sphere used to be. Here's where the whatever that was, the cheese used to be, right? It's not that strong, but it's definitely there. And it's also not super consistent in how it displays itself. So I don't know entirely what to make of that. My theory on what's going on with this is that it's basically still some kind of software issue, either with the BSR, the Boox Super Refresh controller that you know, the FPGA that like basically cleans up after deghosting operations, or it is something that is in, you know, a part of the display controller that is common to multiple different devices, including like the Supernote Manta and the Viwood's full-size device, because they exhibit the same kind of ghosting in some ways. And in some ways, the BSR on this cleans it up. So I honestly think it's going to take some time to really figure out like what it is that's going on, which I think is part of the reason why after, you know, Boox's update that they pushed a few days ago, we're still having the issue. It's not as bad, but they're taking their time figuring out exactly what settings they need to change, what, you know, kind of things that we need to figure out in order to get this issue mostly, if not entirely, patched out. So we'll see. So those rotation tests I feel like help. There were a couple of other things I wanted to show. Let's see. Let's look at... I'm going to try and see if I can put together a video that shows the Go 10.3 and the Note Max next to each other, you know, deghosting, flipping pages, that kind of thing. In terms of which one of them is darker or lighter, it's really interesting because I go back and forth on it. Sometimes I think the Note Max is actually a little lighter than the Go 10.3, sometimes the other way around. By the way, here's some more ghosting, right? So here's that, here's this, right? That's all left over from the control center. And so if I do this, you know, obviously that's gone. It's not doing like a full page refresh when it has the opportunity to. And I think that's basically a battery conservation measure, because pulling e-ink down to full white actually consumes a fair amount of current. So if you look at the specifications, which which is all I can think of is Mr. Mike. Mashup Mike from Rants About Tech's chat pointed out, if you look at the specifications, pulling e-ink down to full white actually does consume a fair amount of power. So there's some kind of trade-off happening between pulling it all the way down to like full white and maybe going to just like a shade of gray, or not going far enough, right? And then having these in-between states that are like less satisfying, which I think is the reason why this is happening. So yeah, they just have to kind of figure that out. Let me see what else I was going to show off here. This thing is just really, really pleasant to use. I don't know how exactly to make it clear, but let's see, we'll go back into our test screen here. And see, now those are all gone without a trace as far as I can tell. This is what I mean about it not being consistent, right? So I don't know. I will find out, but for the meantime, I'm just not entirely sure what the pattern is. But I don't know. I'll do some writing on it to you know, give you guys an idea. I don't actually write like this, by the way. I basically never, ever use cursive. Like, basically ever. That's not even how you make... Well, you know what? We can erase it. How about that? Yeah, there we go. This pen, by the way, is a Statler Norris Digital Jumbo with a titanium tip and a pencil clip on it. Pencil clip is not actually doing me any favors right now because this thing has nowhere to put a pen, so not super useful. The keyboard case appears that it does have a place to put a pen. I don't know exactly what to make of that. I have the keyboard case on order, and I'll, you know, when I get it, I'll show you guys how it works. But yeah. So, you know, we have to kind of figure out what the actual process or whatever is where it trips up and can't deghost efficiently. I don't think we're there yet. I know one thing is that, like, Rod likes to use multiple layers, and we can try and see what happens, because I know that other thing, you know, whatever, okay. It basically is like, okay, if you have multiple objects, am I on layer 2 now? Yeah. And you drag them, you get bad dragging, like, over performance, right? And we saw that with, which one was it? I think it was the Note Air 4C, and it would get like these really bad, the performance of moving the text around or moving the boxes around or whatever it was would be really terrible. I don't think that's going to happen with this device. Let's find out. So, all right, we got these guys. Now we will maybe do some text of some kind. Let's see. Sure, whatever. Okay, I have no idea why I did a full refresh there. Oh, it might have been like a count thing. Okay, that's a bit big. There we go. Go away. Okay, that put phantom words on there. Sure. So now we have that. I don't know. Let's see what happens if we just select one of these other items from a different layer, and just see how it drags. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty good for e-ink. I don't feel like we should be surprised by that because, you know, this thing has the fastest CPU that has ever gone into an e-ink tablet. It has a Snapdragon 855, which is admittedly from like 2019, 2018. It's a 7 nanometer processor. It's, or is it 8? One of those. Reasonably small manufacturing process. You know, it moves when you ask it to, right? It's the same chip that went into the Tab Ultra C Pro. So, I don't know. I haven't seen a lot of the problems since the update that a lot of people have talked about, and I never really noticed the ghosting or find it to be a problem. So, there's that. Okay, so hopefully here you can see the difference in screen quality between the Note Max and the Go 10.3. I wouldn't say really that one is strictly better than the other. What we see here is the darks are darker, in this case, in the same note, between the Go 10.3 and the Note Max. Like if you look at the color of the cube, it's definitely darker here, right? And it's a little bit lighter here. And similarly, I don't know exactly. Yeah, like maybe the Go 10.3 is a little bit more yellow, just like a little bit in the background, like in the whites, but notably, we can see ghosting. I was gonna clear both of them, and obviously I forgot because, as previously mentioned, not a professional. However, you can definitely see these darks here, right? So this is different because it's not the reverse ghosting that we saw before. So I don't know what the hell's going on. My intro says I'm going to, like, you know, figure out why these problems happen, and clearly I am not in a position to do that. However, I can at least show you that they're happening and that they happen in different ways. So you see darks here, right? Dark circles, these are where control center buttons were, because if I go down here, right, there they are. Well, that's interesting because these are light, not dark. Again, not a professional. Come on. Oh, right. I think did I turn off? Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. Where is it? No, hand touch is still on. That's interesting. What's your damage? Okay, there it goes. Well, let me refresh. I'm sure it will go away. Yeah. Ta-da! Oh, wait. Oh, this is the first time I've seen this. So you can still see it here, here, and here. I don't know what that's from. I can kind of see full refresh buttons. Or like a full refresh button here. This is actually kind of tough to see. But, okay. Well. Oh, maybe it was this. It's the do not disturb button. Okay. Let's see. Wow, it's still there. So this is the first time, yeah, this is the first time that I've seen this on this device ever. So again, I don't know, you can see more ghosting too. You can see this here. This is fascinating. Literally, this is the first time I've seen this. I haven't tried these tests in indoor lighting, in my particular kind of like weird LED indoor lighting before. So this is interesting. Now, I also wonder what happens if I refresh it from down here. I wonder if it's the fact that the, you know, the menu is the last thing that's there when you hit refresh. Let's see. Yeah, I think it's gone. It is. Yeah, it's super gone. Okay. Well, that answers that question. That's interesting. So, again, this makes me say software problem. This is something they're going to have to patch out. So maybe I am coming back to, you know, thoughts on how they're going to fix this eventually. Also, I don't know if you saw that just now. Right around here, there was this flicker. This happens on BSR devices. It happens on the Palma 2, which I also have and forgot to mention earlier, where you can see it does this weird like pulsing thing sometimes. Only happens on BSR devices. I've never seen it happen on my Go 10.3. I have seen it happen on the Note Air 4C, and I have seen it happen on the Note Max. So I think it's something about the way BSR does something when it refreshes the screen. So yeah, I don't know. Okay, so for a second there, I was like, oh God, did I do something to damage my Note Max screen? And now I can't get rid of this, you know, control center button ghosting. But no, it's gone. It's just the fact that I did it from here. In fact, I wonder if I can make it come back. Full refresh with the control center pulled down. Let's see. Yeah, it's totally there. Wow. Okay. I might submit that as a feedback. That is interesting. Yeah. Now, if we do this, hang on. I'm just trying to actually screw it. I'll just do it from here. Yeah, gone. Okay. Yeah, boy, is that a software problem. Okay. So, my general suspicion is that anything like this that we're seeing with these weird ghosting issues, etc., they're going to eventually patch it out. It's going to take a while. I think it's going to be a minute before they figure out the ins and outs of how Carta 1300 does its thing, and what they have to do to make it sort of behave the way we're all used to. Because there's a lot of flexibility that they actually have in the programming of, necessarily, because it's an FPGA, of the FPGA that makes BSR work. So they can do a lot of different kinds of magic. I think they're just going to have to work out exactly what kind of magic they need to perform. So, yeah. I was going to do a bunch of comparison stuff, but now I'm not sure there's even much of a point, because, like, okay, so here's control center, right? Now, if I do a full refresh, I don't think we're going to see ghosting here. Let's see. I kind of want to turn something else on to make it. I'll use this. Okay. Ooh. It's, oh, do I see it now? No. So, not a BSR device, so that actually doesn't surprise me. Okay. Huh. Well, we're learning things together here today, folks. So, yeah. But interesting. Okay. Well, if anybody would like me to try experimenting with anything else, just let me know. Actually, let's do, I want to do the rotation test again. So let's see. We have this, and now we're going to rotate. Whatever. Okay, great. And you can see some writing ghosting here, right? Some block stuff here. You saw the flicker here just now too, right? So now we have this too. So we'll do rotation for this. Okay. Same rotation. Okay. Now that did a lot of like big flash refreshing, but you still got ghosting here. You've still got these ghost lines that aren't even there. These are actually from when it just like moved the screen, right? Like it was like changing the sizing after it had rotated. So yeah, there's a lot that this will still, you know, ghost for you. So the people who have said that the ghosting is worse on the Note Max than on the Go 10.3, I think they are naturally inclined to forgive their Go 10.3 more, which makes sense. I mean, there's no anti-ghosting technology in this, right? It's just Carta 1300, rather Carta 1200, doing its thing, whatever. But I mean, this is pretty bad. Like I can see some script. Can you see this? No, you can't see where I'm pointing. There. I can see some script in here, right inside the cube. There's lines in here. It's like, it's not great. You don't expect it to be great because it's Carta 1200 with no BSR, but nevertheless, it exists. And you don't get the equivalent on here. Those vertical lines, now they're vertical, but those lines are not present, even after it did the, you know, the resizing. So you do see a little bit of like maybe reverse ghosting here. And see, you saw that flicker again, right? So BSR is doing things all over this screen to try to minimize what the ghosting that's happening. So yeah, it's interesting, but I think we can definitively say it's not worse on Carta 1300 with BSR. It's mostly better with some weird bugs that make it sort of appear to be really noticeable in some places. So anyway, that's my take. Yeah. Let's look at the Note Air 4C just as like a comparison before I start to wrap this up. Okay. Something I really want to emphasize is that this device is just a real pleasure to use from like a writing perspective and just a general usage perspective. I think some of it is just the size of the screen, and a lot of it is how it just invites you in, which is like the hippiest thing I can think of to say about this, but it does. It's just, it's it makes you want to use it all the time, basically. Which, like, I don't use these kinds of floral phrases to describe technology usually, right? I design and build supercomputers for a living. Like, this is not my usual way of speaking about these things, but like, it is, it's just really pleasant to use. The writing feel is fantastic. You know, I write this, and with my Statler with titanium nib and, you know, pencil clip that I discussed earlier, it's a really great feel on the writing surface. I'm really also looking forward to replacing this titanium with something else shortly, which is in the mail and on its way to me. And if you would like to know what that thing is, you should go to rantabouttech.com. Here's a very, very subtle plug. And go looking for the transplantable ceramic pen nibs that Roderick's been working on, because they're if they're anything like the ones that are in the refills, which I think he literally has like figured out a way to transplant them from the refills, then they're going to be fantastic, and I can't wait to try them in the Statler. So I think it's going to be awesome. But anyway, I digress. So yeah, here of course is the Note Air 4C. So we got color. I think I should be able to turn off the front light. Yeah. Okay. I believe that's still pretty visible. Let me check. Yep. Okay, good. Cool. So, right. So I was going to do a little bit of a ghosting check on this thing. So again, we can do this. And rotate this way. Okay, so that's horrendous. Right? I mean, wow. You thought ghosting was bad before. Whoa, Nelly. So we got all kinds of white script inside anything dark, right? Like inverse images in here. That is pretty bad. You know, if we do this and we just dismiss the control center, I bet we'll see a little bit left over. Maybe not. Maybe not. Okay. But you definitely saw it there, and now, of course, because I summoned and dismissed the control center, it is now gone because, well, the you know, the white script is gone because it did a refresh. But you get the point. So, I may end up. I'm not 100%. I'm probably going to sell the Go 10.3 because I don't know what the Go 10.3 is for when you have a Note Max, which is it feels mean to say because I've actually really liked using the Go 10.3, but it's true. I don't really know why you've got. Look at that! Like, come on, guys. Honestly, like. Oh, the ghosting on Note Max is so terrible. Like, okay, is it though? Really? All right. So I don't know if I'm going to want to keep a color device. Maybe I will. I have no idea. And then of course it's gone again because I managed to get it to auto refresh. So, but I'm probably inclined to sell the Note Air 4C too, because it would be nice to just have two devices. And I mean, I've enjoyed using the Note Air 4C, and in fact, the main thing I've been using it for recently has been this. Look, I'm a giant nerd. I don't know if you know, you guys missed that, but sure, whatever. I've been playing a lot of Mini Metro on it. So, you know, I can do that. It's actually pretty good for that, although it does get a little bit wonky. You do have to do a refresh now and then, but okay. So it is late and I should probably go to bed. Oh, here's some more ghosting. You see some of it here, right? You see some of it here. You see it here, right? You actually see some of it here too. Apparently playing Mini Metro will really show you what this thing is capable of doing in terms of looking bad. But yeah, so. Okay, so there are a few other things I wanted to show you guys. I think the main one is this. Dude, what are we doing? Oh, okay. I think I can probably... Hold, please. Okay. There's like one or two other things I wanted to show you guys before I finish this up. So, one of them is this. So, there's something that I have been playing around with and having a lot of fun with called Boox Rapid Draw. So, the main problem, or one of the main problems, well, actually, you know what? Let's do this. I will show you what it looks like when you use a application on one of these things with handwriting that is not designed for e-ink and is not like plugged into Boox's, in this case, like API architecture for drawing. So, right. So we have Google Keep, right? Okay. Drawing. Great. Here we are. So let's pick a pen. We'll use this one. Sure, whatever. Maybe make it a little smaller so it looks a little bit nicer. This seems like a good color. God only knows what it is because it doesn't tell you. And then we can draw. Great. So, how about... Whoa! What is going on with how laggy those pen strokes are? Horrendous, right? Basically unusable. I mean, you can try to write, like, I mean, let's, you know, if you try to, like, actually, you know what? This is me being an idiot, by the way. It literally took me until this morning to figure out, hey, when your hand starts triggering things like this and you don't want it to, why don't you turn off hand touch like this? I'm theoretically an engineer, by the way. Very embarrassing. But that's neither here nor there. Okay. Rapid Draw. So let's turn that on and see what happens. Starting Rapid Draw service. Fantastic. So I like using things better when they're not lagged to hell. So, you see what happened there. It started out with this very thin line thing that perfectly followed what I was doing on the pen, right? Like this. Right? No delay. And then, after a short period of time, it says, okay, I think you're done writing now. And then it takes the strokes that you put onto the screen and pushes them down onto the, like, layer of this application that is expecting ink. So this makes a lot of things usable that would ordinarily not be. So Google Keep is just one, well, Google Keep, you know, drawing notes is just one example of that. Let's see. Some other examples. So, what this is doing, turn it off, is it is emulating, oh, I keep forgetting that I've done that. Okay, it's emulating the thing that Boox did with OneNote, right? So if we go into OneNote, we go to Optimize. Normally, you only have display, color, and others for the Optimize dialog. Here, we also have handwriting, right? So what I can do in handwriting is turn handwriting optimization on and off. By the way, here's some more ghosting, obviously. It's not too bad, but it's there. So here's handwriting optimization. What we have done is tell it, hey, my line width is going to be 4. I think that's like 4 pixel or whatever, basically 4 point. This is what it's going to look like, right? And so what this does is it does exactly the same thing I just showed you in Boox Rapid Draw, but it does it itself, because Boox went out of their way to say, okay, we're going to add this compatibility layer, basically ourselves, and make it so that the operating system knows to expect ink strokes into this application. So we'll capture all of them up front, we'll make them look kind of pretty, and then when the user is finished, we'll push them down onto the application, right? So again, I have forgotten that I have turned off handwriting, finger writing. So yeah, here's my little, narrative to myself. It is indeed embarrassing how long it took me to figure this out. Okay, so if I just write, testing 1, 2, 3, exclamation point. Oh, that won't work anymore. No, but if I do this, yeah. When I tapped the eraser on the page, it got a little darker and a little bolder, right? Because it took OneNote took the pen strokes that I put onto the page, onto the screen, and pushed them down onto its own, OneNote ink layer. So that is what Boox Rapid Draw does for everything. For OneNote, you don't need to do that because it takes care of it itself. But because Boox did it for you. But Rapid Draw lets you do that for anything, which kicks ass. I can't overstate how good that is. So let's try that with something else. I wasn't kidding. Okay, there we go. Which one do we want to do? I think maybe let's do docs. I think, yeah. Okay, so we will do a new document. All right. So, sure, I could, write in the handwriting keyboard if I wanted to. Right, and it'll just write hi onto the screen. That's not super useful. That's not true. It is useful. It's not useful for this demonstration. So we'll dismiss the keyboard. We'll turn on handwriting in Google Docs, which, by the way, something I'm looking for right now, if any of you know where I can find something like this, this option in the Android application is not a thing on the web version of the software, on the web, the main Google Docs, docs.google.com interface. If you open a document there, you don't get this. And it's not clear what handwriting is as far as Google Docs is concerned. So but just usual, I go here and I set a pen width and I set a color. Maybe I pick this, whatever it is. Cool. And no, stop it. And then I turn handwriting on, and now we do this. I'm just going to make sure that my hand is, yes, it is. Hand touches off. Again, very embarrassing how long it took me to figure that out. Because now I can just do this all over the page and it doesn't matter, right? I don't have to worry about canvas moving. I don't have to worry anything. It's, yeah. Again, theoretically an engineer. Okay, so this isn't too bad, lag-wise, right? That's actually not awful. What I was going to say before I so rudely interrupted myself, is does anybody know of anything that can take these strokes, these handwriting strokes in Google Docs, and do something useful with them? Can I put rule lines on this page and write, and then have Google Docs be like, hey, I'm an OCR this, and tell you that you wrote hello? Because that would be amazing, right? It would get us out of the Boox Notes ecosystem into something else that is actually open and accessible. That could be huge for everybody. It could be huge for Viwood's users, right? Assuming somebody figures out how to fix the pen strokes, because there's no equivalent to Boox Rapid Draw on Viwood's that I know of. But I'm just saying, if I can write stuff on this page and third-party applications in the Google, not App Store, but the Google Docs or Google Workspace application marketplace, whatever the hell it's called, that if stuff like that can access pen strokes in these Google Docs, that could be huge, right? Like that could let me do things like, and like Rod and I have been going back and forth about this for like weeks now. Imagine in the like the Boox Notes app, right? I could lasso something, right? And instead of like it just being like, "Hi, would you like to turn this into handwriting?" Okay, guess not. Screw you. I've got nothing else to tell you. Um, it gave me like a little pop up of like, you know, move to text or move to like or do like an Android intent share out to like Microsoft To Do, right? So I could circle, I could lasso any text, and do share into Microsoft To Do, into Google Tasks, into whatever, right? I can take arbitrary text from any document and do that with it, right? Or do that with the stars and boxes, right? That the Notes app uses. Well, we could wait our entire lives before Boox actually gets around to implementing something like that, even though I put in a feedback about it. God only knows how long it's going to happen. So, or how long it's going to be before it happens. But you can iterate a lot faster, I think, on Google Workspace stuff. I don't know. Maybe. Anyway, so here's this thing. Now, we'll do a demo of Rapid Draw turned on. Okay, starting Rapid Draw service. Whatever. Here we are again with this, like, actually I didn't want to do that. Let me just try this. No. So, this is a little foible. Sometimes, when you turn on Rapid Draw, it doesn't know what the eraser is. If I turn it back off, I think it will remember. Let's see. Oh, I'm wrong. Okay, that's why it didn't work. That's a good reason. All right. Good. Okay. Great. So we go back and do this again. Okay, so now it's on. I don't know. Ofer? Yeah, sure, why not? Okay. So again, you can see it makes it ink in whatever the application's ink layer is. Okay, so I don't know if I'm going to be doing another one of these, but I hope that was helpful. If I can answer any questions for anybody, please feel free to ask. I think that's it. Everybody have a great week, month, year, whatever other calendar segmentation you'd like to use. Peace.